these other names when you're saying there's no face of the league that's at their level?
But here's the thing, Molly. We talking about Steph Curry now because they just won a championship and what he just done in the finals. Last year at this time, we wasn't talking about Steph Curry. Was we talking about Steph Curry during the finals of the Milwaukee Bucks and the Phoenix Suns? No. We wasn't. We talk. Okay, so all right then. That's what I'm saying. We're talking about him because he just finished winning the championship in the Finals MVP.
Well, we've actually been talking about him all year. We've actually been talking about him all year long about what they were gonna do, which they confirmed they did do.
But we always are talking about Steph Curry. There was just a period when the Splash Brothers weren't together, so we weren't as much. They're dealing with a lot of injuries.
But we're talking about Luka. We're talking about Jokic. We're talking about Embiid. We talk about Jokic and Embiid this season more than we talked about, just as much as we talked about Steph Curry and LeBron James.
Not Jokic.
No, that's not Jokic, and not Jokic at all, number one. And number two, when we talked about Jokic and Embiid, it was in terms of the MVP race. I'm talking basketball credentials. I understand your point. We talk about all of those people when we're talking about purely the game. But when you talk about popularity, when you talk about the faces of the league, those were never a part of the conversation. It was always Steph or LeBron, KP. That's a fact.
No, it's not a fact because we didn't had a conversation about who's the next face of the NBA. We didn't have that debate on the show.
Who's the next? In other words, when LeBron James and Steph Curry fade from the twilight, who would be next in line? We had those conversations, but we understood that Steph and LeBron were at another level, and there were cats on the come-up that would ultimately be able to knock them off.
Oh, okay, so it goes to my point. You couldn't just pick to one of them. You had to pick two of them. The question ain't say who are the faces of the NBA. It said who is the face of the NBA. You couldn't even answer that.
I agree, but you remember I was piggybacking off your answer. You said no faces, and then I turned around and I said, okay, I got you there, but how about two? That's what I said. I started the conversation off by saying, how about two faces? That's all I did.
I understand that, Stephen A., but what I'm telling you is this. When I say no faces, that's because we can't just pick one. We can't just pick one.
Yeah.
Because I feel like it's multiple.
Okay, but I picked two. You picked about 5 or 10. I'm like, no.
That's my point exactly.
It's two dudes.
No, it's not. No, but the question was, who is the face?
Okay. Well, then I would go with LeBron.
Okay, agree to disagree.
Then I would go with LeBron.
Then
I would go with LeBron.
Let's get
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.